Here.
And then it's kind of a similar situation with you. We don't have any service on Ms. O'Hara. And I kind of have the same set of questions I have for you as I did the previous two there.
Can I explain?
There's been two reissues and prior reissues in this case.
Okay. Can I explain a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. On the first appearance, when I first took it out on December 18th, Commissioner Judge Paul Wool had put in there and put it on the Zoom call, which I did go back and confirm that he was going to have police service her, but he never put it on the paperwork. So nobody ever did anything on the court side or the police side. Nobody knew. So my next appointment was with you, which was on the 2nd. And somehow they put it to the sheriff's department in Tacoma. Well, she lives in the city of Tacoma. So that's not on me. So finally on the 16th, it was actually sent to Tacoma PD after I've been talking to Tacoma PD. And just last Tuesday, Detective Bordeaux and Tacoma PD called me about this and said, hey, we just got this. I'm going to be on top of it. They need to understand, we get 300 of these a month, but we just got it. So it's not really, I can't look at it. It's not my fault that somebody in the background was sending it to either nobody or to the wrong sheriff's department.
So, ma'am, we can reissue it. It was sent to Tacoma. You're correct. In order to reset it, it'll need to get reissued and resent, and then we can do that again. Yes.
I would appreciate that because I kind of feel like none of this was my fault in getting it issued.
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm just saying I appreciate it.
A couple of weeks ago, you're right. So we'll go
I
ahead
appreciate
and it. I've reviewed your petition. How is it that you're requesting an order against Mr. Randich? When you speak, I want you to speak. Take breaks to allow the interpreter to interpret for me because I'm not going to understand anything you say. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. On December 27th, I was walking around in the community where my home is located, and then somebody came from behind me, attacked me with a stone. So then I reported to the police, and the police officer came, and then they arrested this person and accused him of the crime of attack. But then on the second day, they took over my case. However, they did tell me that they are going to help me and talk to me. They communicate with me and they said that they will help me with this case. However, on the 12th, we had a Zoom meeting. They told me that this case has been transferred over to the courthouse in Olympia. However, regarding this case, during that time, they gave me a protection order. But when the case was transferred over to the court in Olympia, the protection order was removed. So they told me I need to apply for the protection order again. Oh, so this interpreter has not interpreted yet. So regarding this case, when it's been moved to the courthouse in Olympia, no, it has not been moving forward. Nobody has informed me what is happening.
Yeah,
so after I've been attacked, both physically and mentally, my body and my mental state of mind has been hurt and damaged, and then I'm really scared to leave my house.
Okay. Did you know this person?
No.
Okay, let me hear from Mr. Randich.
Okay. I have nothing to say, Your Honor.
I mean, could you? I'm sorry, you do not wish to testify?
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
And could you say that again, please?
请你再说一次。
You don't wish to. You said something I didn't understand. I'd ask you to repeat it, please.
I said I have nothing to say.
So there's an observer for Joel Randich who has her hand in the air. If you could unmute, please. So what's your connection with this case?
I'm Joel Randich's mother. I'm here to help him facilitating communication because he does suffer from a serious mental illness.
Okay. Does he live? Where does he live in King County now?
他现在是住在警郡吗？
Joel lives in Thurston County in the neighborhood where the victim resides. He lives in an adult family home with other household members suffering from various mental health issues.
Okay. Okay. So here's where I understand things are now, based on what I was told by Ms. Diamant and what I read in the docket. He was initially charged in Superior Court in Thurston County, and then there was a no contact order in place, and that was initially filed as a felony. Apparently, the Thurston County Prosecutor's Office declined to go forward on that charge, dismissed it without prejudice, and transferred it to the city of Olympia, which they could do. And sometimes when these cases gets transferred from one jurisdiction to another, there's some time lag from them being filed and going forward. So it's probably sitting there waiting to get filed at the city of Olympia. And in the meantime, in this case, based on what I've heard from Ms. Diamant, and I've reviewed the file.
那么我也把这个档案给 review 过一次了。
And Mr. Randich has decided not to testify, which he doesn't have to. There might be reasons for him not to. Anything he could say here could be used against him in a criminal case. But what I am going to do is I am going to enter an order. And Mr. Randich, I hope you understand that you're not to have any contact with Ms. Diamant. Do you understand that?
You're breaking up. I can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to enter an order that says you're not to have any contact with Ms. Diamant.
It's been a while and I haven't had any problems with her. I haven't seen her. I haven't talked to her.
I want that to continue.
我希望你这样的行为能够延续下去。
So this order will be in place for 1 year. And then there's someone there with you seated to your left there, Mr. Randich. Is that someone from the group home?
那么
Yes.
Randy
What's your name?
My name, Your Honor, is Maria Saavedra.
Do you know whether the group home was located within 1,000 feet of Ms. Diamant's residence?
I believe it is 1,000 feet.
How close is it to her residence? Do you know?
I'm not really sure, Your Honor, but from what we had last time, it says over 1,000 feet away from, like 14 houses away.
Okay. So, Mr. Randich, you're not to contact Ms. Diamant? Don't say anything to her? Don't tell anyone else to go say anything to her?
你也
Don't have any contact, on the internet or any sort of internet contact?
那
Don't engage in stalking behavior, like follow her around or something like that. Don't come within 1,000 feet of her residence or home or place of employment. Do you
Yes, Your
understand
Honor.
all that?
这个您理解吗？是的，我了解。
Give me just a moment.
请等我一下。
Do you have any questions at all, Mr. Randich?
Randy 先生，你有任何的问题吗？他回答是没有的。
Ms. Diamant, do you have any questions?
刁曼女士，你有任何的问题吗
没有。
？No。
Yeah, Ms. Randich, you have questions.
Randy 女士，你有问题？
I do. One, I just want to say I know how sorry my son is for the incident, and it certainly wasn't a direct target, and that is a very sad situation. My question is, because they both live in the same neighborhood, I also, and the group home has been wonderful of increasing supervision of my son outside of the home, but at some point, especially as the weather gets nicer, he's probably going to want to go for walks. If they ran into each other in the neighborhood.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you. I'm going to let the interpreter interpret that. Okay, first of all, when he goes on walks, he should leave and go the opposite direction of where Ms. Diamant lives. If he does happen to randomly see her at some point, he needs to turn around and walk the other way as quickly as he possibly can. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
这样有回答你的问题吗，女士？
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
有
And
的，
you,
谢谢法
Mr.
官。
Joel Randich, do you understand all that?
Joe Randy 先生，你理解吗？
Okay. So I've signed the order. Copy of it will get emailed to you, Ms. Diamant.
那么刁曼女士，这一个法令这个下的命令的副本，我会 email 给你。
Mr. Randich, you or someone from the group home there can get a copy of that. We still don't see Mr. Jacobson. I don't think.
No, Your Honor. Doesn't look like he's from the meeting.
So is this, he was served,
Yes.
and then I read the petition, I saw what you had submitted, and I saw that there was some video there. Do you guys live in the same duplex? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, we live in the same townhouse. It is a duplex, and they lived in part of it. We live in the other half. We have our
I
own
see.
offices and everything.
And then how have things been going since he's been served?
Your Honor, once he got served, they started packing and they moved.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Do you
But-
still want me to enter this order? So they're out of there now?
Yes, Your Honor. But I do want to make it a permanent restraining order because he has.
Well, it won't be permanent. It'll be in place for 1 year. And then if you
Okay.
want to renew it after 1 year, you can come back then.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Give me just a minute.
Yeah, he's made some threats.
I saw your videos.
Okay. And then the day that he was actually served, he assaulted and battered Felix.
Is that okay?
To be clear, it was before he got served that he assaulted.
So the final order will mirror the temporary order. They're not to contact you, not to engage in stalking behavior, not to cause you any harm, and then not to come onto your premises. And this order will be in place for a period of 1 year. Service isn't necessary because it basically mirrors what was in the temporary order.
Right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You can get a copy of this. Well, we could email it to him. We'll copy this. Will get emailed to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
And you're free to leave the Zoom call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. How is it you need an order against Mr. Brown?
On October 15th, he lit my van on fire, and I lost about at least $15,000 worth of tools.
At least what?
What's up?
At least what? I didn't
Like
hear.
$15,000 worth of tools, included in the van also on top of it. When he lit it on fire. I have video evidence and everything of the fire of him lighting it on fire, and I submitted it all to Deputy Caballas, but I guess he's not with the sheriff's department anymore. So that's the criminal side of it hasn't taken place yet. But he's since then started staying in like in the same neighborhood as me. Well, 470 feet away from me, and he's getting ready to go back to jail because he's out on bail currently, and he told me he's gonna get me again before he goes. So I just don't really feel safe.
What's this all about?
He's my soon-to-be ex-wife's new boyfriend.
I see.
And he's got a problem, I guess.
So, so you say he's been threatening you?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I was in my truck one time and he shot a hole in the bed of it shooting at me.
So hang on just a second. What case are you here for? Yes. Last name? I think you're in the wrong courtroom. Just a minute. I'll come back here. So how's he been threatening you?
Well, he just told me he's going to get me again before he goes back to jail. And he shot at me when I was in my truck, and he put a hole in the bed of my truck. Just over text messages mainly.
Mr. Brown, I'll hear from you on the issue of the no contact order. Looks like you got some pretty heavy issues you're dealing with right now.
Yes, and currently what's going on with Mr. Lorenzen is that, so last year there was a police report that was made by me where he ran me off the road into a ditch, and there was a police report made with Thurston County Sheriff's Office, and with text messages that showed him admitting that he did do it. And me and his soon-to-be ex-wife have been together for roughly 3 years now, and I'm bailed out to this address, and he's basically just trying to do anything that he can to keep me and her apart. And because he's still in love with her, and like he doesn't seem to understand that even without me in the picture, like she's not going back to him. Like, and so he's just trying to keep us apart by getting this restraining order and making it to where I can't go home. You know what I mean? And when I haven't done anything like that, I haven't threatened him. I'm looking at some pretty heavy things right now, but I haven't threatened him. He's lying about the text messages. That's why they haven't been given over to the police or anything. Why, if all he has all this evidence, why haven't I been picked up then? Because I haven't done it.
Sounds like you folks should stay away from each other.
Yeah. Look, and I don't mind about the anti-harassment order. What I mind about is hopefully getting it modified to where I can go home at night. You know.
He said you live 470 feet.
Yeah, we live in the same trailer park.
All right. How do you know it's 470 feet there, Mr. Lorenzen?
I measured it.
All right. Can you get to your place there without getting near him?
No.
No, I'm talking to Mr. Brown there, Mr. Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there other ways of getting in there?
Well, there's one entrance, and he lives in the far end, and I live at one end of the first road. And he lives at the end of the second road. So.
All right. Here's what's going to happen today. Does a temporary say 1,000 feet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to enter an order. And Mr. Brown, you're not to cause him any harm. You're not to have any contact with him. You're not to engage in stalking behavior. I'm going to reduce the distance restriction to 100 feet.
Okay.
So that, Mr. Lorenzen, I want to be clear, is 100 feet. And then I'm also going to write in here, Mr. Brown may go to and from his residence in the park. So you're not to contact each other, but I'm not going to enter an order that keeps him out of where he's living at the moment. Do you understand that?
That's fine.
Great. And then a copy of this will be, looks like he left already. Okay. Copy of it get emailed to him. Mr. Brown, you can get a copy of it off the Thurston County District Court website.
Okay.
You're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can put your hand down. And then how is it that you need an order against Ms. Morrow?
Well, she isn't a former employee. Once I released her from the company, there's been many uncontrollable emails and phone calls, threats to not only myself, but the business. So I've also had many employees reach out to me saying that they feel much safer with the order in place.
What sort of threats?
Well, she sent me a demand letter, telling me that if I don't have all of her stuff in this outside by a certain time, she would seek legal action on me. She has caused a lot of issues with. What's that?
Say that again, please. I missed that. I asked what sort of threats. Take your answer from the top.
Sure. She sent me a demand letter and required me to bring all of her stuff outside that she had at the office. Otherwise, she would seek legal action on me. That's one issue. She has caused a lot of issues with different employees and claiming that inappropriate things have happened in the company with people. She's threatened to beat up one of my employees. Yes, that's definitely what happened.
Has she been there since she was, she come by the office since she left her employment? I did review the petition. There's been some things filed also on the 23rd.
She has came by the office, but it was after she was served.
All right.
I had asked my employees not to allow her in the building. She came right through the front doors, went to the back office, took whatever she wanted, and walked right back out the door.
What did she take?
Well, mainly things that were hers, but the fact that she had no authorization to come through those doors when I told her specifically not to go in the building, she took it upon herself to walk right through the door.
Anything further?
I just don't feel comfortable with her. She's, ever since I let her go, she has mentioned to my employees as well as myself that if she wasn't on medication, she would kill somebody. And I heard her say that directly to myself prior to all of this. She just feels very unstable. She comes across very well put together. But I mean, I've been around her for 3 months, and it took us that long to realize who we're dealing with. I have no ill intent on her whatsoever. I just want things to move on, and I want to feel safe.
All right. Ms. Oberbillig, do you have any questions for Mr. Grimmer?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Grimmer, is it fair to say that your interactions with Ms. Morrow were fine or okay until you terminated her employment on January 15th?
Definitely not. There was a lot of emotional distress on her part. On the weekend of the 6th through the 8th, she called me crying hysterically, very distraught, couldn't deal with the job and all the emotions in the office. Email after email after email. At that point, I was like, I just can't even read them. I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to talk to you about it. But yeah, she was very distraught that weekend and hysterically crying to me on the phone. And so I said, we'll deal with it Monday and we'll talk about it.
All right. Now, in terms of feeling harassed or like you needed to get a restraining order, when did that begin?
Well, after I let her go, it was constant. I mean, many emails, negativity, just disgusting lies, and just a lot of nasty words and accusations in the emails, which were very concerning. You know, like I said, I have no ill will towards her. I would just love to move on and just feel safe, but she won't stop. She's reached out to all my employees, constantly trying to stir up, information and commotion, and it's just completely unnecessary.
Do you have copies of the emails that you allege are harassing in nature?
Sure, I do. I have plenty of them.
Is there any reason you didn't provide them to the court as proof of what you're saying?
I was never asked to. I simply filled out the forms for a restraining order. But I can certainly provide them. I have plenty. I mean, they're all dated exactly from when she got let go until now.
All right, so you terminated her employment on January 15th, correct?
That is correct.
And you filed for a restraining order on January 17th. Is that right?
I believe that's close to that time. It took a few days to get that done, but she kept putting so much pressure on me. I had no choice.
All right. So what sorts of threats did she make to you?
Well, she demanded that I have all of her stuff outside, or otherwise she's going to seek legal action if I let anybody know about the email. Inside the email, there was information about employees, and she wanted to protect herself, and she didn't want me to tell anybody because she wanted to make sure that it was not known, all the stuff that she was telling me, because it's not true. So she said many times in the company throughout her employment that she was part of the cartel. Don't know if that's true or not, but it's concerning. She always would say the same phrase that I'm going straight for the jugular if something happens. That was concerning. And then she also told one of my employees that I'm going to take my shoes off and go beat her up. That was, just out of the norm. It just seems very, very strange. There's no reason for any of this to be even said. We're just trying to run a business and provide employment for people.
Did you perceive it as a threat that she wanted her belongings back and that she would take legal action if she didn't have them returned to her?
I had absolutely no problem giving her things back. In fact, I had it all ready for her. But yes, she threatened me in that email that if I did not have them out there by 11 o'clock, and if I told anybody about the email, that she would seek legal action on me. It's clear as day in the email. And so therefore, I responded to her the only time I responded to her since I let her go. And I said, I respect your wishes. I will have your stuff out there by 11 o'clock. And she shows up at 10 o'clock and storms through the building and walks right back there and starts grabbing things that she thought were hers.
Who has she threatened to beat up?
My employee, Adele.
And is there any reason that Adele hasn't appeared as a witness or provided a statement?
Well, I haven't been asked for that. I mean, it's certainly a possibility.
Is Adele there?
Yes, she is.
Is she available to testify today?
She sure is.
I'm glad to know that there is a witness, but I have further questions for Mr. Grimmer if I can continue.
You can. Grimmer, sorry, I called you Grammer, but my mistake, Grimmer.
So is it fair to say that in the period between January 15th, when you terminated Ms. Morrow's employment, and January 17th, when you filed for the restraining order, she sent you a handful of texts and that you responded to at least one of them? Is that accurate?
She did send me several texts, and I responded to one, just confirming the reason why she was terminated. And then as far as emails go, I mean, there was several. I mean, she was blowing me up 2 or 3 times a day. I responded one time, just acknowledging that her stuff will be outside for her, just like she requested. And that's the only time I've ever reached out back to her.
So if I understand correctly, you did respond at least once to text messages, and you did respond at least once to emails.
Yes, that's right.
And you never told her to stop contacting you?
No, I haven't.
Is there any particular reason you didn't ask her to stop contacting you prior to seeking a restraining order?
Because it was so nasty and terrible that I didn't want to engage in it and go back and forth. But I mean, after a week of, having her released from the company, the persistence was unbelievable. She just wouldn't leave me alone constantly, reaching out to all my employees, causing all this drama, telling lies and things of employees sleeping with other employees. And I had employees reaching out to me with formal letters regarding that because they were scared, trying to protect their families. It was crazy. It's unfathomable.
She's never made any threats of harm to you or your family, has she?
Not directly, just the comments that I've already said, that she's part of the cartel. She's, going to go for the jugular. Yes, those type of phrases.
And when did she tell you that she's part of the cartel?
She's told us several times throughout the 3 months she was with us.
But you continued to employ her.
Well, yes, it takes time to realize what people are all about.
So other than emails and text messages that you said were that she was bothering you between January 15th and January 17th, is there anything else that, and threats you say she made because she wanted her things back and being a member of the cartel, and you've alleged that she threatened to beat somebody up. Is there anything beyond that?
Just having the comfort of knowing that my employees at work are safe. She said those things to them as well.
What employees have told you that they would prefer that you got a restraining order against Ms. Morrow?
Adele Whittle is one of them.
So, this is Mr. Grimmer's petition. And so if other individuals have problems, they need to bring their own petitions. And so I want to focus on the interaction between the petitioner and the respondent. And so you can, with that in mind, you may continue.
I do have some questions for my client, but I'll leave it there with Mr. Grimmer.
So Mr. Grimmer, I'm going to swear in Ms. Morrow. I'm going to hear from her. And then if you have any questions you wish to ask of her, I'm going to have you send them to me, and then they'll go through me to her. Go ahead, Ms. Overbillig.
All right. You have submitted to the court text messages along with the declaration that you filed prior to my appearance on the case, correct?
Yes.
And that contained text messages.
Correct.
Did it contain all of the text messages that you exchanged with Mr. Grimmer between January 15th and January 17th?
Yes.
Have you ever threatened to beat up an employee of the company?
No.
Have you ever said that you're a member of the cartel?
No. May I say something?
No, just, you can answer your attorney's questions, ma'am.
Okay.
Have you ever threatened Mr. Grimmer or his family?
Never.
Or any employee of his company?
Never.
Did you send him emails between January 15th and January 17th?
I did.
What was the general nature of those emails?
Just my disappointment. What I was sold in my initial interview was not what I was given. And just disappointment with him as a business owner.
Did you attempt to contact him via telephone at any time after January 15th?
No.
What was the last what was the last email that you sent to him?
It was in the early part of the 18th.
All right. And when were you served with notice of this temporary order?
Late evening on the 18th.
And have you made any attempt to contact him in any fashion since that time?
No.
That's all I have.
Any questions you wish to ask, present to Ms. Morrow, Mr. Grimmer?
Not at this time, no.
All right. So, Mr. Grimmer, anything further you'd like to say in terms of argument as to why you need an order? And then I'm going to hear the same from Ms. Oberbillig, and then we'll go from there.
In general, ever since she left, there's complete harmony in the company. Everyone's being very efficient, a lot of progress being made. There's so much confusion with her on the team. There's so many lies that were said that hindered the company and made the employees feel like they were being attacked. And it's just complete harmony now. It's unbelievable how quickly it can change. And I just wish that, I guess this whole thing is just for her to stop contacting me. I don't want any connection with her whatsoever. It's disrupting work, and it's a concern for my family and all my businesses. I'm just a business owner trying to make a living and support people that work for me.
But it did stop, is my understanding. Is that accurate?
It did stop, and I hope that it continues. Yeah.
Let me hear from Ms. Oberbillig.
The petition in this case provides a vague opinion that the respondent is unstable, that it offers not a thread of proof to support it. He has offered no documents or no other witnesses, just his opinion. Basically, what we're looking at is a couple days of communications between the parties where the respondent is no doubt upset, but there's no proof that she has threatened or intimidated him in any way. And not once did the petitioner ask her to stop contacting him. What's lacking here is a course of conduct of a course of harassing conduct for an unlawful purpose, is lacking reasonableness of apprehension with regard to claims that she's part of the cartel, and any statement that she stopped contacting him. The petition is based on hearsay, opinion, and unsupported allegations, and we're asking that the court not issue a restraining order today.
Anything further there, Mr. Grimmer?
I'm more than happy to provide witnesses as well as any documentation that shows a lot of these things are true.
All right. Well,
and there's really no harm in having a restraining order in place on her end. I don't know why she's even concerned about it. You know, why would she want to contact me or be anywhere close to my business or my family? There's no reason for it.
Well, is your question, why does she not want a no contact order?
Yeah. What does it mean? What does it mean? What's the difference for her?
Well, I can answer that. You know, these no contact orders, they come with some, you know, some collateral consequences, which you may or may not have thought about, and I'm not going to get into them, but they just do. It just goes beyond, you know, stay away from this person. Again, there's collateral consequences of that. So there's a lot of reasons why people would not want a no contact order. But with regard to this particular request, I guess, what was your thing for you? So how long did she work for you? She was just there for a couple of months. Is that correct?
3 months. Yep.
And she was an at-will employee. Is that also correct?
What do you mean at-will? What do you mean by at-will?
At-will just means you can... It means you can choose to let someone go for...
Yes, exactly.
If you choose to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So again, with regard to this case, unlawful harassment is defined and follows. Ms. Overbillig kind of mentioned this, but I'm just going to read the definition: a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person and serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. Conduct must be such as would cause a reasonable person to suffer substantial emotional distress. Course of conduct is designed as a series of acts over a period of time, evidencing continuity of purpose. With regard to this case, Mr. Grimmer, at this point, I'm not positioned to find that a pattern of harassment occurred, given that, you know, the things you cite. And I didn't, you know, when you say, well, nobody asked me to submit these emails, you know, when you're a petitioner, you're a plaintiff, or when you bring a lawsuit, you know, you have certain requirements. You have to show up by a preponderance of the evidence, or in civil cases, beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal cases. So no one's going to ask you to do that, and you don't have an attorney, but, you know, you're responsible for showing that. And basically, as far as I can tell, what happened in this case is she worked for you for a short period of time. I'm going to use your words, just wasn't a good fit. And for whatever reason, she got let go. She reacted to that. And I guess we can debate how appropriate it was or not. But the thing she says, well, give me the stuff or I'm going to take legal action. You know, I don't really perceive that as a threat. The type of, and there's reference of some allegation against one of your other employees, but she's not the petitioner here, you are. And so I'm not going to enter an order at this time. Having said that, I think, you know, we've had a hearing here. Ms. Morrow, I'm going to turn to you. You kind of got an idea of what Mr. Grimmer feels, and I don't know whether you have any sort of employment case or not. Not making any finding on that one way or the other. You understand how he feels about contact from you now, do you?
Yes.
And everybody who works for him.
Yes.
So I'm not going to enter an order now, but there's a decent chance if some sort of contact continues, I might consider that harassing in the future. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And so that's what I'm going to do here for today. I'm not going to enter an order, but that'll be it for today there, Mr. Grimmer.
Thank you.
You can get a copy of this. Well, you can get a copy of it right now. Ms. Williams and Ms. Tran will be next.
Yes, I'm here, Honor. Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Hang on just a minute, ma'am. I'll tell you when we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Tran, did you want to say something? I'm going to hear Ms. Williams is the petitioner. I would hear from her first, but I sounded like you wanted to say something. And I need you to focus on me there, ma'am.
No, she was just saying good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So Ms. Williams, you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
It's everything I applies and I submit true.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I just say yes.
Okay.
Everything is true.
I just want to, yeah, again, I'm just, okay,
Yeah.
hang on just a second.
Yes.
Okay, how is it you need an order against Ms. Tran there, Ms. Williams?
Is on the December 10, 2023, I just normal things. I post in the picture advertisement about Jujak Quest event on the group K1 has only 8 or 9 people. So I recommend people to go to TPwOw by from 15, 17 December to join. If anybody has a baby or a small kid to join the dinosaur event, may have a fun. And then the trend.
Just a second. Have you slow down a little bit? I'm having trouble understanding what you're telling me, but okay.
Yes. Do you want would you like to me repeat?
Yes, please, and very slowly.
December 10, 2023, I post on advertisements, an advertisement about the dinosaur event in TPwOw on December 15, 17, 2023.
Okay.
So, yeah, on group K1 Washington, because that's we have some ladies there. We share the news and stuff. We help each other.
It's kind of like a news group among a community. Yes.
Yes, community. Yes, and I recommend who have baby or you guys want enjoy the dinosaur event. You can apply for because we'll close soon. So Chen say is that is that for kid and her baby too small, her baby very now want to become the adults and I say my husband and me will join because we curious about fossil dinosaur fossil, think about dinosaur picture business, but Chen told me in group is that it sound like a Chinese, and I stopped talking. And then another things I say, I also collect a fashion doll to enjoy the fashion. Even I feel so make me feel young and happy. But she posts one thing, she not happy with her she not happy with her conversation with me in group, and she posts the thing she pushed is mean nhồi, it means she pushed her baby. She doesn't have anything to do, just stay home and the push her baby like a doll. It means she saw casual me on social media. So I message her on group. I say, Chen, please don't making trouble or arguing with me too much, and then and also don't harass me. And she ever harassed me so many times. I didn't ask the I didn't submit anything from first time I met her, because she told my husband is not American and make my heart hurt. And she told the one of member in the group she too small to her baby. And then she here. She told many other lady not related to me, but I don't want to listen about that. And she told my husband my husband here. My husband here, she said my husband look scared and weak. And I'm not happy with her from 2 years ago, but I didn't fight. And after that, she paused and I asked her to leave the group so we don't have any fight. And then I told her, could you please leave the group? I asked her, please leave group. And she insulted me right away in the group. She said, hey, you are the crazy person. You are a crazy woman. She said the nasty words. And then I removed her right away in the group because I really hurt. And she continues not stop. Half day later at night, I'm really tired from work. And she sent me the private message. She said, are you crazy when I talk to you? I say so many things. I have evidence here.
Okay, so hang on just a minute. You submitted texts. They were all in Vietnamese. Is that correct?
Yes. And I also challenge 60% of the translations, my translation in the
yeah, I couldn't understand that. So hang on just a minute there, ma'am.
Yes.
So okay, so here's where I'm at, ma'am, Ms. Williams.
Yes.
I'll be frank with you. I'm having trouble completely understanding what you're telling me. We can have a hearing with a Vietnamese interpreter, which, like if you saw earlier, we had a Chinese interpreter. I think that would really help me understand what you're trying to tell me. Does that make sense? Did you get that, sir?
Yes.
Could you explain to her what I said?
Yes, Honor.
Hold on. What he's saying is he wants to have a translator here so that you can speak in Vietnamese and then the translator can tell English.
Yeah.
Speak a little further.
I apologize, but it's very difficult for me to, I kind of get some of it, but I don't quite get all of it. Also, this, no order's been put in place.
Yes.
But so we'll just reset this hearing. I think that's the best way to go because, but I guess, let me ask Ms. Tran, could you unmute, please?
Yes,
Hi. Is your first language Vietnamese also?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then, did you guys used to be friends or were acquaintances or how do you know each other?
We are acquaintances. We're not really friends. We just met each other only twice.
Okay, so let me speak with Ms. Tran for a minute. Okay. All right. Someone wants to be heard. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So I think the best thing to do is to reset this. Let me find out when we can get a Vietnamese interpreter here for both. I think that would really help.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. We're going to set this for the 12th, which is 2 weeks from today. And you can please make an effort to get along here. We send notice to both of them.
I don't have notice or ability to send to the respondent if I don't have an email. So.
And then Ms. Tran, do you have an email we could send it to?
Yes, she does.
Great. Could you send that in the chat? You send that to the clerk, and then we'll get that email, and then we'll email notices to both.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. Your Honor?
Yes.
I have a question. My wife is scheduled to go back to Vietnam on
visit parents
on the 5th, I believe, is when she leaves.
Oh, I see.
If she can't attend, would I be able?
When does she come back?
Welcome back by February 5th.
No, you leave on the 5th.
Yeah, on the 5th.
I believe she's back. Hold on, let me check the calendar.
Well, we will make her change her trip. When she's back, we'll set it for sometime after that.
Okay, she would be back on the 26th, February 26th.
Okay. Why don't we set this then for March 4th?
March 4th. Okay.
March 4th.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. You both are free to leave the Zoom call. Or Ms. Tran, did you provide the email yet? I saw. I have not. So you're asking for an order.
Doing it now, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Mr. Brummel filed a response. Did you get a chance to review that?
I have not.
which is interesting in the sense that he starts off by saying he doesn't have any problem with the order, but then goes on in quite a lot of detail. How is it you need an order against Mr. Brummel?
So this actually, it goes past the most recent incident. Last January, we decided that we wanted to part ways with Mr. Brummel as a business partner, and we let him know. And he was in favor of it initially, and then after that, he, I guess, had a change of heart and started threatening my business partner and I, telling him he wanted to fight him and saying that he hopes I die. Just things like flame on, stuff like that. And I filed a police order at that time because it was a little scary. He then was served a cease and desist on January 1/11/23, so by an attorney. He, since January 11th of last year, has continued to email, text, try to get a hold of me through third parties, has continued to post public information like my like license plate tag, my name. He has made allegations about my son stalking him when he walked by, because we live in the same apartment complex. He has driven by me and said, "I hope you die," multiple times. He has walked by my apartment and flipped off the people inside of my apartment multiple times. And I was pretty clear, I thought, through the cease and desist, and also over text at one point, I had asked him to stop. And then I tried to file for an anti-harassment order. I believe it was in October. And then at that time, the judge had said that I needed to come with more evidence or more at that point. And so on New Year's Eve of this year, he and my oldest son had an altercation. And so I filed again at that time. This most recent incident, basically the story that my son has given me, and he's here if you need to talk to him. But this is, of course, I wasn't present for this because I have done everything I can in the last year to avoid Mr. Brummel. I'm actually afraid to leave my apartment half the time because of him. But long and the short of it is that my son has seen that I'm greatly impacted by all of these threats that he's made. And he was coming home from a friend's house, which was across the street. And Mr. Brummel was outside. And so Elijah asked him at that time, Elijah is my son, why he keeps bothering me. And like, wouldn't he feel some kind of way if his mom was being harassed by somebody? At that time, according to Elijah, Mr. Brummel put his hands on him and pushed him. And then Elijah punched him. And then as he was leaving, trying to leave, Mr. Brummel shouted after him that he was a pussy. So that's the general gist of it.
And testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor. And I appear with a witness to that event, Kellen Crocker.
Yeah, I'm hearing from you now. I'll hear from him in a minute.
Yes, Your Honor. And I apologize. My phone's battery's getting low.
Tell me, so you guys used to be in business together?
That's correct.
And then she said since that broke up, you've been kind of giving her problems. Frankly, I'm less concerned about the issue with her son as I am about, she's saying about, the flipping off, the yelling, I hope you die, things of that sort.
Right.
What about that?
And those are fabrications, Your Honor. I am certainly upset with how the business ended. And I have been working with various authorities regarding the crimes she committed to exclude me from that business. But I'm doing everything above board. If you'll notice my rebuttal, there are case numbers in there, and those documents are with the prosecutor's office currently. She's also...
What business were you in?
Amco Transmissions at 2728 Martin Way East.
AAMCO.
Hong Kong.
Continue on.
And so that particular incident that she raises was about, I think it was about 10:30 or 11 in the morning on New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, excuse me. I was taking my dog out and her son was walking up. He said, and please excuse the language, but why are you fucking my mom? I said, because, I mean to make sure that she pays for those crimes that she's committed
Pays
against
for
me.
what?
The crimes she's committed against me. And so I've been filing, information with the state and with the county. At that time, Mr. Crocker was in his truck and he witnessed the actual event.
Okay. And like these other things you're saying, none of that other stuff ever happened? The flipping off, the yelling,
No, Your Honor. My attorney actually has advised me not to talk to her. In fact, there was one time where she sent somebody to assault me with a deadly weapon. Just moments prior to that, she tried to holler at me and get my attention and get me to come over to her apartment. I did ignore that and kept walking. I was taking my trash out at that time. We live in the same apartment complex. And as I was walking back to my apartment, what I can presume is her boyfriend pulled up in a car with her son in it. And he was carrying a Bowie knife. And he kept saying, why are you trying to, sorry, Your Honor, again, trying to quote. And I just kept telling him to leave. And that was actually on case number 2023-7828. Since then, she has actually been parked outside of my apartment building a couple of times. I don't know for what reason, but it does worry me because, first thing, I have a disability and her son hit me right in the ear that's causing my disability. So the intent was to cause me those problems. And as far as I can tell, if she's received paperwork from anyone in the state or city, then that's intention to intimidate a witness. No. She's trying to send people to attack me.
Did you receive a cease and desist letter from some attorney?
I did. It was an attorney in California who's not registered with the Washington Bar. My attorney at that time told me it carried no weight.
Well, it's a request. I mean, you can either abide by it or not.
Right. And at that time, she had still phone service in my name, parts accounts in my name. She was running up debt under my name. And she shouldn't have been doing that. And unless I misunderstand, that's identity theft.
All right. You wanted to call Mr. Crocker?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Again, what do you know about this? And again, I will tell you that incident involving someone who's not here isn't really relevant to what I'm going to do here. But if Mr. Brummel wanted you to testify, so I'll hear from you.
Witness the event. I did witness the event that occurred. I cannot remember the date off the top of my head, but I did witness the event that occurred, and it definitely did not go as Miss Soikowski says it went. Her son appeared to be waiting for Nick to exit his apartment. The only reason he exited his apartment was to walk his dog. It clearly seemed like he was sent to attack Nick. He waited until nobody was around, or so he thought. But as Nick said, I was sitting in my vehicle and I was watching everything in my rearview mirror. And he ran up to Nick and assaulted Nick twice. He punched Nick twice in the stomach while screaming obscenities at him, and then took off. Everything that I can tell, it definitely seems extremely nefarious on Jen and her son's part. And I will also attest and confirm that they do, Jen and her son, patrol the apartment complexes, and it's starting to scare not only me, but one of our other neighbors as well, because we notice them all the time. They go around in circles in their car, and when they're not in their car, she sends her son out, who does laps around the apartment, I assume waiting for Nick to exit. As I think you know, Nick does, which I can confirm, have a disability that pretty much keeps him from leaving his house a majority of the time, so it is hard to catch him outside. And I do have video footage on my own cameras of this gentleman making laps around our apartment.
Okay, anything further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
And then Ms. Soikowski, I'll hear your response to what you've heard thus far.
So many things. First of all, I have not committed any crimes. Second of all, the things that were in Nick's name, we let him know the beginning of January that we wanted to split ties as a business. And he got the cease and desist on 1/11, so 11 days
and
after.
This was of 2023, right?
Yeah. This was 11 days after, so it's not like we had a lot of time to separate things at that point. We did separate things as we could with the business, tried to remove his name from as many things as possible, as quickly as possible, because we understood that he didn't want to be responsible for it anymore. As far as the allegations that I set people up to do these things, the truth is I want nothing to do with Mr. Brummel. I would like very much for him to move on and live his life. I have made no contact with him whatsoever since I asked him to leave me alone. He has made many, many Facebook posts about me, though. And I have none. I mean, like, I'm trying to move on with my life. I have no desire whatsoever for any contact, nor do I promote anybody going and contacting him. The day that he's talking about where he was taking out his trash, I actually ran from my car to my apartment as quickly as possible, and then came out and yelled at my boyfriend to come and talk to me. And I told him that he was out there and that I was scared. After that, he and my son went to run an errand. I have no idea about the incident that he's talking about. And then as far as my son patrolling the building, he has friends in this apartment complex. He's 16 years old. And there are other children in this complex. So he walks by. His apartment is near an entrance. So I also have to drive by to leave the apartment complex. There are a couple of entrances, so I could probably avoid it more, but it's sort of a circle. So there's one entrance in particular that leads to Harrison that's harder to get to if I go through the other entrance. And I suppose I should start doing that since they think I'm stalking them. But
how long were you guys in business together?
Just a few months.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Brummel, anything further?
No, Your Honor. Like I said, all I really want is I want this, all this libel nonsense that she's put in this report. I'd like it not in there. And I just want it to be a reciprocal, like, she has to stay away from me and I have to stay away from her. Okay. She can't have people come over my way. I just want to make sure I'm safe. Like I said, okay. I got thumped pretty hard in the ear. That kid's, 6'2", 6'3", and 225, 235 pounds. I'm no match for him. I'm not trying to fight him, but he's sure trying to fight me. And so I just need to make sure that I'm safe.
All right. Well, the only thing in front of me here today there, Mr. Brummel, is her petition against you. You kind of had me at your opening there where you didn't have any provisions with it. So I'm gonna grant that order. If you want your own order, you need to bring your own petition and go from there. But so you're not to, the order is going to be the same as the temporary order. You're not to contact her. You're not to engage in stalking behavior. And like I say, if you have allegations to make against her, you need to bring those independently in your own petition. You're not to cause her any. And again, the issue of not to come within, and I put 25 feet, which is what the temporary order was. And given my understanding of where you live, you both should be able to get to and from your own apartments without coming within 25 feet of each other. Ms. Soikowski, you said, well, maybe I should start going to the other exit. Yeah, you probably should. That's not part of the order, but neither one of you want anything to do with the other, as far as I can tell. And so you should make an effort to facilitate that as well, Ms. Soikowski.
Sure.
And that'll conclude the hearing here today. You can get a copy of the order off the Thurston County District Court website. You wanted to say something, Mr. Brummel?
Yes, real quick on 13D. This may be a typo then in that case, because it has 1,000 feet, which of course.
Yeah, I crossed that out on the temporary. On the hang on just a sec. Are you talking about the temporary order?
Well, I'm talking about, it's marked as page 5 of 12, petition for protection order.
Of what? What are you talking about? The petition?
Yes.
Okay, the petition is just what you're asking for. You need to look on the order to see what I actually do.
I did see the 25 feet there, so that covers it,
That's
Your
what
Honor?
it's going to be on the final order also.
Okay.
That's it for today. Go ahead. Do you have any other questions?
They can't, knowingly come over then at that point.
No, I mean, I don't,
problem.
Sometimes I have seen people kind of use these offensively, and what I mean by that is they'll get the order, then they'll go to a bar where they know this person hangs out just to mess with them. If that happens, I won't look very kindly on that either, Ms. Soikowski. You understand? So I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. So you're not going to go out, I would advise against you going by hanging near his apartment just to try and get him into trouble. That'd be a really bad idea. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to do that. I'm telling you, I've seen people do that.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense, Mr. Brummel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, if there's no more questions, that'll be it for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think I'm good, Your Honor.